We grew from a few hundred grand to 15 million in a couple of years.
When I look at the end of the month, I see green. It's the biggest thing that I could ask for.
He has spoken to how many founders?
500 plus now. We've now got a factory in the UK as well.
I never wanted to sell. I just got approached and someone said, we want to buy it. The number was good enough, I guess.
We're here at Online Retailer in Sydney in Australia, and these are the best of the best e-commerce brands and the biggest retailers here in Australia and around the world. Today I'm going to go in, I'm going to talk to founders, e-commerce managers, marketing managers, you name it, to find out what the strategies are they're implementing this year to grow their e-commerce business. Let's go. Excuse me, man.
Yeah,
Do you own an e-commerce business?
I do.
Oh, awesome. What's it called?
It's Who's Elijah?
And what do you sell?
Perfume.
How long have you been running that for?
About 6 years now.
And how's it going so far?
We grew from a few hundred grand to 15 million in a couple of years. It's been crazy for us.
Awesome. And so for anyone starting out, what advice would you give them?
If I could go back in time, I would focus on two things that we didn't focus on in the beginning. I would focus on brand building, like first and foremost. And second thing, everyone forgets about it, but it's so important, like your financials and your P&L and how to actually manage a business.
What's one of the best strategies you put in place that's grown your business that maybe not many people are talking about?
Organic social. I wish we had just gone full send into organic social much sooner.
And what strategy are you seeing now, like, is the future? So you talk about organic social. Is that the future? Is that where you're focusing most of your attention? How are you going to go, for the next 6 years in business?
We're following the lead of Comfort and all those guys, but it's bringing creators and ambassadors in-house into your business on retained earnings and bringing them into the story, letting them be actual brand ambassadors for you and scaling that channel out with organic creative. And if it's a win-win for them, meaning they either get a retainer or they get the commission, whichever's higher, you can scale that easily.
And so your brand has gotten, so big over the last 6 years. What advice would you give to someone who's just starting out, they're bootstrapping it, they don't know what to do next? Like, what would be the first steps they should take?
You have access to all this information now from all these incredible founders, Dave Fogarty, Simon Beard. I would just be studying those guys and really just unpacking what they did because it's so achievable now.
So that was really cool. We spoke with who is Elijah. He's one of the founders there, and that business has done like $15 million over the last 6 years. And his advice was work with creators, create content. Organic social is more important than ads now, or they both work really well together. Let's see who else we can go and talk to. Oh, I've got someone over here. Excuse me. This is a really amazing stand. Tell me a little bit about your business.
Okay, so my name's Anita and I own Hero Packaging. We do sustainable packaging for a lot of the online retailers that you guys like. When you buy something and then it lands on your doorstep, a lot of the time that's Hero Packaging.
Awesome. And I'm guessing you sell this online. You're on an e-commerce store. How long have you had your business for?
Hero Packaging has been around for 7 years, just over 7 years now. So it's a long time. And in e-commerce, about 10 years. So
7 years in Hero Packaging. You've been in e-commerce for 10 years. What's the biggest win you've had so far?
The biggest win is coming back from a really bad low. So 2022, we had a really bad time and we lost track of the numbers and it wasn't really great. And then we've had a really nice comeback and a really slow but steady, profitable comeback because we introduced manufacturing. We removed a 3PL. We're now owning the entire process from start to finish. And for me, that is like the biggest win, just knowing that when I look at the end of the month, I see green. It's the biggest thing that I could ask for.
I love that. So you've been in business for 7 years. A lot of people don't get past year 1, 2, or 3. What do you think your secret to success is that you've been able to stay in business for so long?
You have to be everywhere all at once at any given point in time in the cheapest way possible. It's like that's my thing that I say all the time. You've got to be doing your content. You've got to be doing the ads. You've got to be doing SEO. You've got to diversify. You can't just put your money in one thing and expect it's going to work all the time. What makes me different is that I show my face, I humanize the brand, and I'm always everywhere. So people can't avoid me.
So I think that's really interesting. You mentioned founder-led content, humanizing brand. Would you say it's really important for founders to be the face of their brand?
If they're comfortable with it, absolutely. There needs to be a human element of the brand that people can connect to other than products, because products are just way too commoditized and like people don't connect with that at all. Product benefits, features don't sell. It's like, the person either behind the brand or the face of the brand.
What advice would you give the person that's sort of just starting out?
Make sure that with everything that you're launching, there's demand for it before you launch it. Make sure that you have enough money in the account so that you are okay for the next 3 months at all given points in time. I want you to make sure that you are trying everything and testing everything in small amounts to see what resonates with your business. And I would say always think about newness first. Of course, profitability, but newness is really important because people get bored, especially in this economy.
So team, that was Anita from Hero Packaging. Check out her stand. It's a packaging stand and it's really fun, really outgoing, but she really nailed it. She said, you've got to be a human. You've got to humanize your brand. Content's really, really important. Stand out for your competitors, listen to competitors, know your numbers. There's a lot that goes into running an e-commerce business. So if you want to be successful, make sure you follow that guide. So look who I bumped into. This is Bushy. He runs Australia's biggest e-commerce podcast and he has spoken to how many founders?
500 plus now.
500
Not
founders.
but e-commerce professionals, e-commerce experts in Australia. So
it'd be safe to say that you pretty much know the ins and outs of everything that goes inside e-commerce businesses, their strategies, what works, what doesn't work, would you say?
I'd hope so, as well as experience on the retail side and in agencies as well. So hopefully I've got a pretty good, well-rounded view on that.
Of all the founders you spoke to, would you say there's like a trend of things on what makes an e-commerce business do well versus one that doesn't do so well?
I think there's knowing what type of founder or you are. Are you a visionary founder or are you a wartime founder?
Okay.
Like some people just thrive when things are tough and you need to buckle down, know your numbers and get through those times. And some people are really good at that. And some people are your visionaries that rely on a really strong team. And I think the difference is those who know which one they are and call on help to fit the other side that they're not is the ones that I see being really successful.
Completely get it. It's the mechanic versus the person who owns the business style thing, right? All right. So if that's the case, would you say there's any like core strategy they're seeing sort of currently now that's working better for brands than other strategies?
What I'm seeing out there at the moment is everyone's questioning their strategy. And if you're not questioning your strategy, you're probably doing it wrong.
Yeah.
We heard some great examples yesterday of businesses who were forced to rebuild their business either through sickness or through financial situations and kind of tear their business down and rebuild it. And if you're rebuilding a business today, it's actually a really good time to rebuild and rethink the core structure of a business because we've got a whole new set of AI tools that are evolving. So if you're rebuilding your business today, you do it totally different.
100%. Now's the time to build. So you've seen lots of growth stories. You've probably heard lots of success stories. What would you say for the brands that haven't done so well? What do you think the mistakes are that they've made?
I think the mistakes are not getting help early enough. Trying to do everything all at once and by yourself is a key mistake. We also see cash flow is constantly, we're in retail, right? So we're a cash flow heavy business, not knowing your numbers and just chasing sales, not knowing the flows and the cycles of cash and when you're going to need cash is something that trips up a lot of businesses. They're probably the two big things. I think too, there is an over-reliance on performance media rather than building your own brand and your own first-party data.
If there was sort of one piece of advice you'd give to someone who might be bootstrapping or they might just be starting out the business, what advice would you give them?
My advice would be, especially at conferences like this, it's easy to get overwhelmed or even disenfranchised by thinking that everyone's got it sorted. We're all figuring it out. And I think everyone who is starting out in e-commerce needs to keep in mind that what you see on stage isn't necessarily the truth and the full story. Everyone is figuring it out. I'm figuring it out every day. I'm learning new things. So no one has this sorted. Your idea is as good as anyone else's. A lot of it comes down to execution.
Absolutely love that. This is golden advice. Guys, this is Bushy from the Add to Cart podcast. Make sure you check it out. Thank you so much, man. Really appreciate it.
Pleasure. Thank you. I love your work.
Cheers. So you just heard it there from Bushy. He speaks to hundreds and hundreds of e-commerce brands every single year, and he has a similar message to everyone else. Cash flow is king. We're not really sure it's working. You just got to try. You've got to fail. And one of the big takeaways was that you might see all these flashy things from brands and they look successful, but they're probably a little bit like a duck on water. They look good on the outside, but they're all absolutely panicking underneath. So, just got to give it a try. All right, so let's see if we've got some other people. I think this guy's good. Excuse me. Just wondering, do you own an e-commerce business by any chance?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
And what's your business called?
It's called Tiny Me. So we do personalised kids products. So things like puzzles and stationery and no mobiles, that kind of stuff.
I actually think my daughters might have bought from you or my wife's bought from you guys. That's really cool. So how long have you been in business for?
I've been one of the business owners since 2010. Yeah, so a fair while now.
So that's a long period of time. What do you think the secret to staying in business that long is?
Cash flow, generating decent cash flow. So, but also just adapting. Like we've seen massive changes in e-commerce in the last over the journey, and you have to keep kind of changing your approach and adapting new technology, using new marketing channels. Everything keeps changing, so you got to make sure you're flexible and able to adapt.
What's the biggest win you've had in your business in the past?
Oh, the biggest win, that stuff. I mean, for us, we made a deliberate decision around 2011 to do an international strategy and start selling offshore, and that's now nearly half our business. So that's probably been a pretty important one for us. We've now got a factory in the UK as well. That's our biggest market outside of Australia, and we've got 10 different country websites. So I think that has given us a lot of diversification in the business.
If you were to give your younger self some advice that was just starting out, Tiny Me, what would be the advice that you would give to yourself or someone who's just starting a business?
Get advice. So, have people who can mentor you and point you in the right direction. And the other thing is just move fast, test and try things, scale what works.
I love that. Ben, thank you so much. Tiny Me, guys, check him out. Amazing brand. I definitely use them myself. Thank you so much for today.
No worries. Thank you.
So that was Ben from Tiny Me. He has been in business for 20 years and he sells kids products all across the world. His advice is make sure you hire the right people and get the right team around you. And that's not just your own staff, but get advisors when you're first starting out. Talk to people who've done it before, take their advice, test and try, and then, just give it a go. Okay, we just stopped, grab something to eat, but I actually recognize this guy over here. So I'm going to ask him a couple of questions. I think he's got a pretty good story to tell. Hey, mate, do you mind if I interrupt you for a sec?
How are you?
Good, how are you? Now, just wanted to know, do you run an e-commerce business by any chance?
I did, and I sold it in December.
You sold it in December, all right. So that's pretty fresh. Tell me a little bit about that business. What was it?
The party people. So we sold balloons, decorations, costumes, and all that sort of stuff. And been running it for about 25 years and built it up and sold it.
25 years running a party business. And was this predominantly an online business, in-store? Like what was happening with that business?
Both online and in-store. And it was about 50-50 of the business. We had a couple of stores, actually. We had 3 stores.
Amazing, 3 stores, 25 years in business. So there's got to be some secrets to your success. Like what was it that kept you in business for 25 years?
We launched online in '99. We were the first retailer to offer click and collect in Australia. And we jumped on board with Google when they first launched. So I was Google's first advertiser, paying 1 cent a click. So, I don't know if that's a secret or not, but, it was different back then. And then now, as we got towards it, become more complicated.
So it sounds like you got into Google early, you got into click and collect early. Feels like you're maybe ahead of the trends. Like, do you think that was part of your strategy? Like trying out new things and trying out new strategies?
I actually get asked this a lot, and people say, how did you know? Like, how did you know that Google was going to be a thing when you jumped on board? And I didn't. I had no idea. I had no idea that was going to be big. Always asking that question, how can we service our customers better? We offered click and collect just because we were like, it makes sense. Like, let's help our customers, and I think that's just the secret is just think about how you can solve customer problems all day.
What would you say your biggest win or event has been in business?
The biggest win, I would say opening our first store. We opened that store. We did $1 million in our first year. And I put that down to the fact that we just had such a strong omni-channel presence. We had the online, we had the store, and that synergy was huge for us. And I think that was probably my biggest win. Probably sounds a little boring, but I'd say that was probably the biggest win.
$1 million in a year just from launch. That's really awesome. So you've had lots of wins. I'm sure you've had some downsides too. What would be one of the biggest mistakes that you've made or you've seen in your business?
More mistakes than wins, maybe. I don't know if they just hurt more, so you remember them more. Biggest mistakes was just, I found it just not financial planning. I know it sounds so boring, but not having monthly reporting. And then, we got to a point early on where we essentially ran out of cash. But, I could go all day with mistakes. I mean, yeah, we did a lot of things badly. We didn't plan well. I made every mistake you could probably make, but I think the key is just learning from it fast and not making the same mistakes twice.
You had your business for 25 years. You've now sold it. What was the tipping point that made you sell the business?
I never wanted to sell. I just got approached and someone said, we want to buy it. And the number was good enough, I guess, is the best way to put it. I didn't want to exit, but they it was a good number and I was happy to take it and move on.
I love that. So what are you doing now with, this nice exit? You don't have your little baby of like your 25-year-old business. Yeah. What are you doing with yourself now?
Yeah, so now I'm doing advisory work. I work with businesses doing sort of 2 to 5 mil on upwards. Help them with all sorts of stuff around e-com as well as physical bricks and mortar, because I find that a lot of businesses, when they're getting to this point and they've got multiple stores, it starts getting out of control for them. When you're running it as a small business, it's easy to control it. But as you grow, it's a different ball game. And I'm helping a lot of businesses with that.
25-year-old business, and he sold it, and now he's advising some of the biggest brands here in Australia. And his advice was, jump on the trends. Who knows if it's going to work, if it's not going to work. You've got to test it. You've got to try it. Make as much noise as possible. Get attention. And we often say that, attention is absolutely the new currency. So you've got to go there and try it and test new things. It's been a crazy 2 days. I'm exhausted, but I've spoken to so many people, vendors, founders, brands, people who work inside brands. But there's some common things that I've learned today. The first one is you've got to know your numbers. Numbers are everything. If you don't know your unit economics or you don't know your cash flow, all those sorts of things, your business is going to fail. That should be the number one thing. The second thing is you need to stand out and not copy everybody else. Don't copy someone else's strategy for your strategy. The third thing is get advice from people that have done it before. They're going to see the pitfalls. They're going to know what works and what doesn't work. Hopefully you've enjoyed this one. I'm going to go get a coffee. I'll talk to you guys later.